I was born in 1961. I am 64 years old and I've been lifting weights for over 50 years. Right now, this is what I look like, this is what I lift like, and no, I'm not on TRT. Zercher squats. A Zercher squat is performed by hooking the bar in the crook of your arms in front of your body and then squatting. Zercher squats were invented by a guy called Ed Zercher, and he invented them back in the 1930s because at the time squat racks weren't available, and this was a way to get the barbell into a squattable position. Essentially, he deadlifted it up to about the middle of his thighs, squatted down, hooked his arms underneath, stood up, and there you go, you're ready to squat. Now, Zercher squats disappeared by the 1950s because squat racks were invented and squat racks were widely available, and squat racks were a hell of a lot easier way to do things. Zercher squats disappeared so completely that even though I've been lifting for over 50 years, I only came across them about 10 or 15 years ago, and I've only seen maybe 5 or 6 people do them in a gym, maybe 5 or 6 years over the last 5 or 6 years, which begs the question, is there a good reason to resurrect this lift from the dustbin of history, or is it more fitness fad? It didn't take long to find this video from a fairly substantial channel making the argument for including Zercher squats in your workout.
You'll find barbell squats and deadlifts in most workouts, but there's one exercise that I've found that rises above them all as the perfect hybrid exercise that gives you the best of both worlds.
That sounds great. You got my attention. And he claims even more than that.
It's building real strength, muscle, and power, all in one surprisingly comfortable lift.
So he's essentially making 2 arguments. Number 1, Zercher squats are the perfect hybrid of squats and deadlifts, that they build real strength, muscle, and power as opposed to that fake strength, muscle, and power. And also they're surprisingly comfortable. The second one is one I'm going to examine first, because when I looked at how you had to hold that barbell, I was like, no way, that can't be comfortable. And a quick search of the web, I'm not alone. Who is this Zercher guy? And what did he have against his bicep tendons? This guy says why he won't do them, because Zercher lifts are miserable and masochistic, unlike a heavy back squat, which is just a rip-roaring good time. Finally, Zercher squats. I have written about my disdain for this exercise before and still scratch my head when I see this exercise being praised. But the best explanation for not doing them was given to me by strength sage Glenn Buckley. I don't do Zercher squats because I am not in prison. In his own video, he's providing evidence that they are in fact not. He had a friend of his come in and demonstrate Zercher squats. That's about 110 pounds. 50 kilos is on that bar. That's about 110 pounds. That is not a lot of weight. But look at the amount of padding that is on that bar. I'd say the claim that they are surprisingly comfortable is pretty much done with. Of course, even if there's some discomfort involved, if they really are that good of an exercise, they still might be worth doing. So what's his argument for that? Well, that starts with the fact that he started doing Zercher squats after he suffered a back injury. And he said that switching to Zercher squats or introducing Zercher squats, they helped reduce the load on his back because you're more upright when you're performing a Zercher squat than a regular back squat. And if you look at the little video, the little them side by side he's included here, that's absolutely true. However, when you add a little bit of weight to it, the picture changes quite substantially. And this is not a huge amount. This is 100 kilos. That is 220 pounds. Now that is definitely forward lean. Now what's really kind of perplexing about this is that it's been known for a long time. I mean, anybody who's been in the gym and done them understands that front squats are a great way to train the legs without involving the back as much. Notice how upright my posture is when I'm doing the front squat. Notice that it's upright all the way through, all the way to the bottom and all the way back up. I have a very upright posture. Compare that to the Zercher squat we just looked at, and yeah, there's no question. So I would say this idea of forward lean really doesn't hold water. The next claim he makes about the advantages of Zercher squats is so obviously wrong. I'm not even going to get into the reasoning. I'll just let you listen to the clip.
And the upper erectors that run along your spine that never get trained start working overtime.
Are you kidding me? You think my upper erectors never get trained when I'm doing a back squat? I got news for you. If my upper erectors weren't working overtime when I'm doing a back squat, my shoulders would just fold over forward. I mean, this is such an absurd argument. You don't need AI to figure it out, though here it is if you'd like to take a look. And the worst part about it is it completely undercuts his first argument. His first argument is that there's not as much forward lean, so there's not as much load on your back. And now, guess what? There is more load on your back. Your back has to work even harder. I mean, come on, make up your mind. Amazingly enough, as absurd as that claim was, he's got another one. Take a look at this.
But if you're a chest breather, where all of your muscles and cartilage around your ribs are stuck and stiff, the ribs can't expand.
You're telling me somebody moving like that their cartilage, their chest, their ribs are stuck? No. And look at this. I mean, look at this position he's in. Nobody's like that. Nobody holds their body like that. I don't care what's going on with you. That's not how you hold your body. So how does he suggest that Zercher squats affect this problem, or correct it, if you will?
But what the Zercher position does is it pulls everything forwards and apart, which creates space in your upper back and ribs, which reinforces proper rib cage expansion.
I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, how do you take a deep breath? How do you expand your chest to take a deep breath? Do you put your arms forward like this? Do you put your arms back like this? I mean, it's so obvious. It's so natural. I really can't understand him even suggesting this. He has one more shot, one more pitch to throw at this idea of it's improving your posture, breathing, whatever. And he talks about how when you finish a set, your shoulders feel light, like they're floating away. His friend he is talking about that too. Well, that's called the Constams effect. And if you've ever done this as a kid, you stand in a doorway, you push your arms out against the doorway, and for about 30 seconds, when you step out from the doorway, your arms want to rise on their own. It's not the muscles are contracting, but it doesn't feel like they're contracting. Well, guess what happens when you're holding a bar like this and you do for a period of time and you put it down? The load on your shoulders makes it feel like your shoulders want to rise on their own. It's just a neurological response. There's nothing special about it at all. Now, I know this is getting repetitive, but he continues to make claims that are on their face absolutely false. Take, for example, this in saying that the strength created by Zercher squats is more functional.
But when you're lifting a heavy object, it's usually not down at arm's length in front of you or up on your shoulders on your back.
Well, yes, that's true. You usually don't have something up on your shoulder sometimes, or you often don't. You sometimes don't, whatever. And it's not always at arm's length. But what does a Zercher squat do? How do you do a Zercher squat? You have two choices. You take it out of a rack like a regular squat, or you pick it up off the floor like a deadlift. There is no difference there. There is no advantage there at all. And it's amazing that he's even saying that and not thinking for 2 seconds. Oh, wait a minute. You look at this video, you see him always, or the people in this video, other than there's one demonstration of how to do a Zercher squat where somebody shows how they did it in the old days. Everyone else is doing their Zercher squats out of a rack. Everyone I've ever seen do a Zercher squat does it out of a rack. So don't tell me there's some advantage, some functional advantage there. There just isn't. His last go at trying to say that Zercher squats are somehow better is an argument from authority and a comparison of strength of various exercises. It is not what he thinks it is. An argument from authority is when, somebody who has credentials say, oh, this is what it is. Well, guess what? I really don't care what your credentials are. I care what your argument is. Einstein can say 2 + 2 is 5. Who cares? The argument is what counts. The other thing is, I put the screenshot up. The other thing is he's saying, well, a guy who can Zercher 600 is stronger than a guy who can back squat 800. Yeah, so what? There's lots of exercises like that. You can make lots of comparisons. Your front squat should be about 3/4 of your back squat. So if you know what a guy back squats and you know what a different guy front squats, you can probably say which one of them is stronger. What you can't say is whether a back squat is a better way to get strong or a front squat is a better way to get strong, any more than you can do that comparing a Zercher squat to a back squat. You can't tell me whether that Zercher squat is a better way to get strong or the back squat is a better way to get strong. For all you know, the guy who does Zercher squats might be back squatting 900. And it's just that the relative strength in these exercises, that 600 is actually a better demonstration of strength than the 800. It doesn't tell you that it's a better exercise. So what's the conclusion? Would I start doing Zercher squats? Would I recommend anybody else start doing Zercher squats? No. Zercher squats were abandoned for a reason. Back squats are simply a more effective way to exercise, to train your body, to train your legs. Now, it seems to be a trend in the fitness industry that they have this nostalgia thing going on where they go dig up some old piece of equipment, old exercise, Zercher squats being the old exercise, kettlebells. They were abandoned as strength training tools a long time ago, barbells and dumbbells being better. But the fitness industry digs this stuff up so it's got something new to market and to sell. But really, it makes about as much sense as Ford bringing back the Model T. Now, as far as this video is concerned, fitness influencers, I don't have a really high opinion. I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other, because I think most of it is just hype and harmless fluff. And you don't really need them. I mean, we understand what we should do and how we're supposed to do it. The big problem is actually doing it. That is where I'll give the fitness influencers some credit, because I have no doubt that they are providing motivation to an awful lot of people to get in the gym and train. However, that motivation should not come at the expense of information. And information in this video is horrible. It's so bad, it feels like it's malicious. And that should be a concern, because this channel has over 1 million subs and the production qualities were very, very high. So, watch other videos if you want, consume other information, but as always, buyer beware. Enjoy the video? Let me know. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.